is here. It is now 1 p.m. And so the break of our 5th annual Activity Strong Summit, we this year decided to dub it the Dementia Disco for a lot of reasons. One is to celebrate life of everyone, our elders, our team members, and just to consider the fact that, again, dementia can include a life well lived. So I just wanted to take a few moments to give you an update about Activity Strong, give you an update about Link Senior, and just share a few thoughts about what we see in the market, share a few thoughts about where we see things going, and there's a lot of exciting things happening in activities and life enrichment. And then we will be sharing a very cool, very interesting benchmark tool that we recently updated at Link Senior with its partner through Activity Strong. So just as you probably heard from this last session, my name is Charles Vilmorin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Linked Senior. And so Link Senior is a resident engagement platform. We're based in Washington, D.C. We love to have fun. We love to celebrate our values. So one of them is obviously the reason why we're here today, which is Activity Strong. I cannot tell you all the different people that have contributed to Activity Strong, but I just want you to know that we at Link Senior started it, but it would be nothing. It would truly be nothing if we weren't able to have amazing partners such as Activity Connection, NAP, and NCAP. The other initiative that we launched a few years ago with Link Senior is called Old People Are Cool. It's this idea that we think, as you can see, we have stickers, we have a lot of swag, and I'll show you some of the swag in a second. But it's just this notion that we believe that everyone is cool, every life is worth celebrating, and obviously that includes our elders. And I myself have a lot of work to do when we think about bias, when we think about age. So there's this idea of ageism. And so Old People Are Cool, we believe, is a tool to fight segregation based on age, to fight bias based on age. And I would love you to consider just visiting. We have this website called oldpeopleare.cool, where you'll find different resources. One of them is a manifesto. One of them is a store. And just before I tell you more about the store, just as a heads up, the proceeds, the money that we make on the store go directly to the Alzheimer's Association. But you can find a lot of different swag. So we at Link Senior love to celebrate different moments of life, including birth. So I'm a big fan of sending people onesies when there is a happy news in their family. But my 4 kids have swag that say Old People Are Cool. And again, it's this idea of celebration of age, celebration of life, regardless of age. So these are values that are very, very strong for us at Link Senior, but also all of our partners. As I mentioned, we're based in Washington, D.C. Link Senior as a company, we're based in Washington, D.C. We're extremely excited and honored to be partnering with so many amazing organizations out there. And so we're privileged, I always say we're privileged to touch the lives of now more than 52,000 residents in the US and Canada. And so if you're part of some of these organizations, I just want to take the time to both thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for this partnership, and know that my team and myself, we're deeply honored to be able to help you in what you do, which is to help your residents, your elders, live with purpose. The way we do it, obviously, is through a combination of technology and education, and it's in the end all about human touch. If you have any questions about us, obviously, feel free to reach out. But one thing that we're proud of is just the fact that our work, we believe, is all about empowering life enrichment, enabling purpose and quality of life. And so we're happy also to be able to contribute to the body of knowledge out there that says that more programming is better for the quality of life of the residents we serve, it's better for the quote-unquote clinical outcomes of our organization and the financial outcomes of our organizations. So this was a clinical study that we published in 2019, and it was a really good study that was done in 3 sites, almost 300 participants, and we basically correlated the usage of our platform and the data that was found in the EHR that these places were using. In that case, it was point-click care. So great study, very proud of that. And again, feel free to check out our website for more details. As we go into the next part of our break, I just wanted to, obviously, this is the non-CU bearing part segment, I should say. So feel free to, do what you got to do if you want to. But some things that I thought we could share also is where things are going in senior living, some of the trends that we see, and really some exciting things. Don't get me wrong, there are challenges, but there are also a lot of exciting things happening. So I think one thing that we've known for years, but now there's a lot of data and there's a lot of proof out there, which is, if you think about it at the highest level, senior living, where you all work, is an amazing product. It's a product that works. If you have not heard of NIC, NIC, NIC is the National Investment and Capital Organization, and it's where a lot of owners and operators meet and educate themselves to have access to financial resources for their organization. So it's really where your C-level, your owners and operators meet and congregate. And so they've done a lot of work about, showcasing the value of senior living. And I thought this was really important, especially for an activity and life enrichment professional. This piece here you can find on the NIC website, but basically showcases the fact that people that consume senior living, i.e. your residents, have been shown to live longer, right? To receive more home health care, which is a good thing, to obtain more preventative rehab services at home, and spends less time on antipsychotics. So that, in a nutshell, beyond the fact that it shows that senior living works, it also is a testament of what we do in activities, because this will be hard without activities, without life enrichment. And I always like to say that there will be no senior living without activities. So again, to all of you out there, thank you for your contribution, but also understand how exciting this is, which is that the more we see and show that senior housing is a good product, the better off we will all be, right? An interesting thought that Meg Laporte shared with me the other day as we were presenting together is just this idea, and if you want to put it in the chat, well, I'll just tell you directly. I don't know if you know this, there are about 45,000 assisted living and nursing homes out there, right? But if you ask someone who's not in the industry, where's the closest community, some of them don't know. But if you ask them, where is your McDonald's? Most people would know, right? I can tell you around my house where there's at least 2 or 3 McDonald's. But there are only 15,000 McDonald's, right? So 45,000 senior living communities, 15,000 McDonald's. And so that little difference in people's minds shows about the fact that we need to be proud of our industry. We need to be proud of senior living because, again, it's a great product. Now, I want to go one level further, one level down when it comes to what's happening. So some of you might be familiar with the ICAA. It's the International Council on Active Aging. It's an amazing organization. They're based in Canada, but do work in North America. Many of your organization, I'm sure, have considered their work. They have historically been the first organization to promote the wellness model. So, some of us think of mind, body, spirit, or 7 or 8 dimension. Basically, it's a framework to enable the resident experience to be optimal. And again, this is based on some of the study that they've been doing. As you can see, obviously, trends are going up, which is a great thing for us because we are the enabler of wellness, right? We, in activities and life enrichment in rec, are the ones that make these models, getting back to our previous session, we help them being operationalized. And so these are, again, exciting trends, exciting things happening right now in 2025 and beyond. And I think it's worth noting some of the other types of models. So this is just an article that I received not too long ago in my email. I highly recommend that you consider subscribing to this publication. It's called Senior Housing News. 2 years ago, they started a segment all about memory care. So I thought you might be interested in maybe signing up. These are some of the free newsletters. But one thing that beyond the very great quality content that they've been sharing, one of them that I thought would be interesting for us to share and just be aware of is all of the underlying work that CMS is doing with the new guide model, which is really, to quote this article, it is very disruptive. It is changing the way we are going to be caring and building experiences for people living with cognitive change. And I'm excited to share that in August, I forget the date, I'll get to that in a second, but in August, we have Dr. Jennifer Stelter and Rachel Blau, who are going to be coming to do a session, fully dedicated to this new guide model. So stay tuned for that. There's a lot of exciting things happening from all angles, including the CMS new guide model. So these are important trends we wanted to share with you. I think that, I'd like to take a step back and just focus on why we do what we do, right? Chris and Dina's words in the past session were all about purpose. And I think that in activities and life enrichment, I often hear that sometimes we forget why we're doing what we're doing because it's so hard or our organization isn't respecting us. Just know that what you do every day, just by showing up at work, you're taking a stand for your residents. Everyone on the floor probably thinks about it one day, one way or the other, but you are the one that thinks about it the most. You, just by showing up at work, make a statement that yes, activities, yes, life enrichment is important. And why is it important? Please never forget that purpose is a basic human right. Regardless of who you are, your color of skin, your ethnicity, your religion, your cognitive journey, especially today as we talk about dementia inclusion, purpose is a basic human right. So by showing up at work, you are, quote unquote, taking a stand for that human right of your residents. So thank you for doing that. And they might be big words, but as Dr. Al Power often says, words create worlds. And the world that we all want to is more and better programming, more and better activities. We just want more of you on the front line engaging your residents. So how does that work, right? How do we do that? Well, I think it's important to understand where things are. And sometimes, as I mentioned, things might be difficult. Our session before, our C-level leadership panel, I think really talked a lot about, and very well, about this connection between our residents and their frontline staff. I love this slide. I did not create it. It is somebody by the name of Fee Stubblefield, who is an amazing leader in the industry. He is the CEO and founder of an organization on the West Coast called the Springs Living. And he just put out a book. And on LinkedIn, he's been, quote unquote, broadcasting this notion of how do we enable magic? How do we create better senior living tomorrow? And so the way he explains his work, what he does with his organization is that he's at the bottom of the pyramid. He's at the bottom of pyramid to enable all the additional layers. And so think of him here at the bottom to enable the home office team and then the team within the community towards one goal, which is to facilitate, quote unquote, magic. And so if you are on the front line, well, right now you're not because you're in front of Zoom, but if you were on the front line before or after this session or tomorrow, understand that we all believe, I believe, this organization, this man believes that you are the enabler of magic. And I think that's really important. And Chris and Dina did such a great job at explaining how they empower that magic to happen. Now, I'm sure, and I saw it in the chat, that some of us are in an amazing organization where they feel respected and empowered every day. Some of us might be a little less. And being perfect is very hard. It's almost impossible. So we're all at different stages of that journey as individuals, as leaders, or as organizations. But to understand how to enable better magic or more magic, one would ask, well, how are things going on right now? Like, what's the status of things? And so, I love to sometimes take a kind of a loose angle or kind of light angle, which is that sometimes, don't get me wrong, activities is very chaotic. And just as a note, I feel that I can talk about this a little bit because I had the best advice one day in my life, which is to get certified as an activity director. And I learned that I went through MEPAP, which is the NCAP certification. But I hear that almost weekly from activity professionals that it's hard, it feels a little chaotic. And so I think as we are leaders at the CEO level or any steps towards the front line, but also as a frontline person, I think it's important to also understand that our industry comes from, well, has made a lot of progress, I would say, comes from a place where it was much more medical, much more task-oriented, and there's been a lot of progress. But I think it's important to understand that engagement itself is a difficult task. So if you've been on our webinars before, you've probably seen some of these slides, but I think it's worth pausing and also recognizing that we come from a place where there's a lot of opportunities, but there's also a lot of ways we can think about, again, improving quantity and quality of programming. So this is one of the many reasons why we at Link Senior are so excited to share with you. It's our, I think, fourth now, and it's our mid-year update. But just to share with you what we see through the data of all of the surveys that we do more than twice a month with hundreds of professionals and organizations that participate, and also as we analyze the data of our clients. So I think that today, and we can say this very proudly, Link Senior, we're the only organization that analyzes, compiles, and shares with the industry client data in the form of insights for us to understand where things are, what's blocking it, and how can we improve. So I know we've shared it before. Please consider downloading this piece. It is free, and you can self-reflect. You can use it with your team to understand how to improve, but also please share it widely with your organization, because understanding these challenges and then taking the next step is what's going to enable you to be able to provide more and better programming to your residents as a professional and as an organization. So just a few quick thoughts. We overall see engagement continuing to improve. As you can see, when we all know this, 2022, 2023, and 2024, there's a lot of seasonality. This is linked to staffing issues that, again, some of that is seasonal. And it's also based on the needs and preferences of our residents. Just as a highlight, this includes mostly assisted living, memory care, and skilled nursing operators. And this now compiles the information of more than 200 sites and almost 15,000 data points of residents. So it's really great data. One of the things that we find very intriguing is this notion of contact per day. And earlier this year, we introduced that as a quote-unquote a KPI, something to be measured, to be improved. And it is simply, on average, how many times are we proposing a program to our residents, right? One would think that it's happening multiple times a day, but our data shows that not yet. There's a lot of progress. We're almost at one. We believe the goal is everyone within your organization, especially in memory care, should receive at least one invitation per day. And so we're almost there. There's been a lot of improvements. Now, the thing about contact, that's an invitation. It's me going to Chris or me going to Brenda or just offering a program. What we find fascinating is what happens afterwards. And this is why we are huge proponents in measuring decline ratios, which is why our residents declining programs. I might be invited to a bingo program. I personally love bingo, but maybe bingo is not my jam, or maybe it's not the right time, or I'm busy with family. All of the reasons are worth capturing so we can improve. And if you don't think it's important, let me just share one story. When COVID started in March of 2020, we saw our decline ratios go to 0. We never saw that. So we were anxious to understand why. And we interviewed many professionals. You know what they said? We can no longer offer programming. Whatever we offer, residents are just grabbing because they need engagement. They need connection. And for us, it was an aha moment where we understood that decline ratio symbolizes, means a voice. If I have the power to say no, right, that means I have a choice and I'm using that choice. So it's a good thing. So we believe, and obviously these are very healthy levels of decline ratio, like 31%, right? It's, as a programming person, we shouldn't think about, oh, they don't like my program. It's more like Dina was saying in the previous session, it's an opportunity for us to learn, to improve. Now, if you go one step further, we have a lot of insights of why programming, engagement, activity, life enrichment is difficult. I think that we see, and we continuously see, that staffing obviously is an issue, but the other aspect is how we enable collaboration between departments. There's still a lot of room to improve, whether it's from the clinical department, the sales and marketing department. You know, I think it's interesting to see that still only a quarter, we still have at least a quarter of our teams that say that they don't collaborate with sales and marketing, right? Some of the best EDs that I hear and know, what they say is that activities sell. People want to live. People want to see connection, and none of that can happen without activities. So that is a big opportunity for our industry. Another aspect is, this connection with the leadership that we just discussed in our second panel. And I just mentioned about clinical. I think clinical is the big, there's a lot of opportunities, and we've seen a lot of improvements there. But we need to stop thinking about working in silos, and we need to think about what's the end goal. The only goal that matters is our residents. And so here at Link Senior, we're a big fan of this notion of quote unquote social prescription. Our first panel kind of alluded to that really well. You know, Linda talked about the green pill. Alisa shared multiple examples that included aromatherapy. So I'm blanking on the words where we use needles. So, but there's a lot of ways to integrate activities and engagement in better care for our residents. Again, we see, obviously, we're a little biased at Link Senior because we are a technology company, but still consider the fact that one activity director cannot engage, even 30 residents. It's not humanly possible. So we need to empower all of our team members, and we also need to make sure we're saving as much time as possible when it comes to charting, documentation, research, and prep time for our programs. We live in a world where if our activity teams are with the residents, that's a good thing. So we need to shave off, reduce the time spent at the desk. Another thought is, what can technology enable us to do? So this is very exciting for me because this is actual data from one of our clients that operates 26 locations across 6 states. And as you can see here, they touch the lives of almost 2,500 residents in assisted living, memory care, and skilled. And top down, every level of the organization can see how good of a job they do there, right? They do an amazing job. It's almost impossible to be at 100% participation just because of staffing and the fact that residents come and go. But we know that 35 minutes per day is a goal. They would exceed that. And so it's amazing to see organization that from the top to the frontline staff have enabled a data-driven management of engagement. And another thought is, we talked a lot about Montessori. We know that Montessori, one of the core principles is to have resident-driven program. And I still meet people that tell me in memory care, we can't have resident-driven program because they can't. Well, there is nothing further than the truth there. We know that people living with cognitive change at any level, any journey step that they are, can and should be given the choice, the power, and the opportunity to lead, initiate, and express what they want to do. So again, this is just proof in the clinical clinic that this, at the enterprise level, they have more than 10% of their programs that are led by residents. And I find that so inspiring, because this can be done by anyone, and it's a cultural thing. So I thought this, I'm sure that all of you might be interesting to see these examples. This happens every day, and we believe that that's part of the future. One other thought that I wanted to share with you is, we know by now that technology can help you really kind of double down on your promise of person-directed living. And if you want data to show it, here again is a study that we did a few years ago, but with more than 700 organizations, and basically shows that electronic tools can help you deliver on the twice more likely to create individual plan for residents. In other words, using these tools, you're twice more likely to deliver on person-directed living. So I hope that these were interesting and thought-provoking. A couple of things that I wanted to share with you are some of our upcoming education. So if you go to activitystrong.com, you'll be able to see some of our upcoming programs, and I highly recommend that you consider them. The next one in 2 weeks is about life enrichment and value-based care, which is enabling future, different, better payment models. We have an amazing panel with friends, dear friends, on July 16th, Success and Lessons Learned from Res Engagement Champion. We're going to talk about dementia inclusion. And then we have another one here, Finding Joy in Dementia Care. And I also wanted to share the fact that our Decoding Dementia gathering is on September 3rd, and more to come during the second break about it. But we're very excited and would love to invite you all to consider this as the next step in your educational journey. With that, one last thought, which is, as we all know, today is our Dementia Disco Day. I have my little disco ball, and I just wanted to invite Brian to provide a little teaser. And I love it.
Hi.
Teaser about our happy hour today. Brian, tell us more about this.
Well, I'm always excited about happy hour. So we're going to be doing some dementia disco game, and I have some things that I'm going to be giving away to the first, second, third place winners. So make sure that you have your drink in hand and join me at 6 o'clock. I'll be starting at 5, but you can join me at 6 here at this place. That's it.
Thanks, Brian. So please stay on. Brian has been amazing. Brian, I just want to say that I think Activity Strong, one way or the other, cannot be Activity Strong without you. You've always been there. You've been an enabler of many of these discussions, and it's a true pleasure to help you help us have fun at the end of the day. So thank you, and please stay on. So with that, we're going to end the recording for our break, and we are going to start our third session of the day.